Hello and welcome back to Desert DIY. If you are new here, my name is Corey. If you are watching this video, it's because you are somebody who is looking to earn an extra income and you feel like flipping furniture is the way to do it. So I want to give you guys really specific ideas on how you can do that and really good tips that aren't broad. I want to give you really specific tips that will make you feel confident in your ability to go out and make some extra income flipping furniture. And I also want to say before we get started that I am super proud of you for doing this research to figure out how to better yourself or your life or your family or whatever it may be. Sometimes it's really hard and you just are struggling, and whatever's going on in your life that makes you feel like you need to make that extra money, bravo to you for actually getting out there and starting this work, because I have been there, I have done it for many years, and I know that it's not easy, but I'm super proud of you. So I want to say that first. The first tip, though, that I'm going to give you for the do's is do find free furniture. Some of you may be thinking, well, duh, if I could find it free, then that's what I would do. Well, here are my specific ways that I find free furniture. So the first way that I do is I find it on Facebook. So if you go on Facebook Marketplace and type in on the search free, that easy, you will see a bunch of stuff pop up. Some of it will be stuff that's not free and they're just putting $0 on there to get your attention. But if you look through every single day, you will find free stuff all the time. And you have to be ready to go and pick it up once you do see it. So keep that in mind. And now for the other ways I find free furniture is one of the main ones that I do after Facebook Marketplace is I print out the schedule for the bulk trash pickup for my city. And when I have time, I will look on that bulk trash list and figure out which neighborhoods are doing their bulk trash pickup, and I will drive through those neighborhoods and find furniture. I can also find leftover scrap wood and other lumber that is very usable this way. And don't be afraid to do this. People appreciate you taking their stuff that's on the curb, because then it makes them feel better knowing that it's not going to be wasted. A lot of people do feel guilty about putting things out on the curb, so it's a relief to them seeing people like you and I drive by and pick that up. And you won't be the only one doing it either, so don't feel embarrassed. You might even have somebody driving right in front of you or right behind you doing the same thing. Another tip for doing bulk trash is kind of a common sense one, I guess. I don't know, maybe you didn't think of it, maybe you did, but look in the neighborhoods that are wealthier. A lot of times people who have more funds are more likely to throw something away instead of fixing it up. So you might find some really good stuff this way. I also thrift in the more wealthy neighborhoods and find better things at thrift stores this way. So it really works, and I would look there first and prioritize that neighborhood when doing those bulk trash drive-by days. Now, the don't for this is don't shop at thrift stores for furniture that you're going to be flipping. Thrift stores, especially nowadays, are hiking up their prices, and if you are thrifting to buy something to keep for yourself, then that's fine. But if you are thrifting to buy things that you are planning to sell for a profit, you're going to lose all your profit that way. Next tip I want to give is to buy paint that is not super expensive. Common sense, right? No, but I recommend two paint brands. So Behr paint is my all-time go-to for doing large projects. I use Behr paint all the time. B-E-H-R from Home Depot. That's how it's spelled. Not Behr like B-E-A-R, but B-E-H-R. It is a paint and primer in one, so it covers really well. It lasts for a lot of projects, and it's very versatile. You can use it on a lot of different things, and Home Depot also offers chalk paint, which brings me into my next brand, which is Rustoleum. I like Rustoleum chalk paint a lot. It is great. It's affordable, works really well, and it comes in colors that are popular, so that will help you, and that will be a part of a tip coming later on in this video. Now, for the don't on this, do not buy artisan paints to be used for resale. And recently I did a video about using DIY paint. I personally didn't like it. A lot of people do. But beyond that, do not use paint that is that expensive to be flipping furniture. So if you are doing a project for yourself, go ahead, by all means, buy that expensive paint. But if you are doing projects to flip furniture, you are going to want to keep that profit as high as you possibly can. So buy paint that is in the more affordable range. Next, I want to tell you about buying hardware. So where I buy my hardware is off of Amazon, and I buy it in bulk. Now, when I say bulk, I'm not saying I buy it at a high price because I'm buying so many of them. It's actually not expensive at all. So on Amazon, you can find really in-style hardware for as little as 50 cents a piece. If you were to buy in stores, which I do not recommend, it would be like $3 to $5 per piece of hardware. So that's something to keep in mind, and I will link down below in my Amazon store the hardware that I buy in bulk. And that leads me into the next one, which is save the hardware when you can. Sometimes pieces are missing hardware and it would be better to just redo all of them so that they're all uniform looking. But if it's all there and it can be painted again or reused just the way it is, just clean it, I highly recommend doing that instead of replacing it. We're talking about keeping those profit margins high so that we can make more money off of the piece. So don't get to like super into making it be just the right hardware. Remember, you're not keeping this piece. It's for resale. So keep the cost really low. So do not buy expensive hardware. Moving on, the next thing I'm going to tell you about is keeping your color choices neutral. Now this tip is probably not going to be popular with some people because I know there are a lot of people out there that like really colorful things. But think of it in the means of resale. So when somebody's reselling a home, they paint the walls neutral because it suits more people's styles. And the same thing goes for reselling furniture. Keep it neutral, which is whites, grays, and blacks. Sometimes you can do like tan or brown. Those are also neutrals. And with wood tones, keep the wood tones neutral as well. So some wood tones that are really popular right now is walnut and whitewash, which I've done a lot of, and gray wood. So those are the type of woods that I would stick to. Oh, and early American is a very good stain as well. And what I would say not to do is use bright colors. So if you use a bright color, you're limiting your audience by a lot. And when it comes to buying secondhand furniture, if you're wanting to ask full price selling it, you want to have the most amount of buyers looking at it so that that buyer can take it away from you. So you don't have it sitting here waiting to be sold for a long time. Colorful pieces don't sell as fast and they don't sell for as much money in my experience. So keep that in mind. You're not keeping the piece, you're reselling it. You don't want to have it stuck at your house forever because you're waiting for that buyer. Another way to find out what kind of style to do on a piece is to go to furniture stores. So furniture stores pay people to research and design their pieces, and they want to find out what exactly is selling and what is not selling. So use their hard work for your advantage. Go in there, walk around, and just see what's selling. Take some pictures for inspiration and start thinking of how you can turn your pieces into that kind of style, whatever it is that is selling right now. So again, we're keeping our personal style out of it and selling what is popular. Last time I went to a furniture store, I noticed that the style that's really popular, at least in our area, was like a traditional farmhouse. So it's not like super rustic, not super fancy, you know, it's kind of in between and it's more traditional. So that is what I would do in reselling my furniture, is follow those styles. Some stores that you can check out if you're in the United States are Ashley Furniture Store, TJ Maxx, and Home Goods. Those are the most popular places that people are buying furniture right now. So you want to kind of emulate the style that those places are selling when selling your pieces. When it comes to your tools, I highly recommend buying them secondhand or from Harbor Freight. When you're buying secondhand though, make sure that you do check for their functions before you bring it home. Don't spend that money on it and come home and find out that it doesn't work. And when buying from Harbor Freight, they have a decent return policy. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but I have returned pieces to them that stopped working. And my Harbor Freight tools that I've had for 3 years, and they are still going strong. And that is my orbital sander and my paint sprayer. And they were extremely affordable. I think my orbital sander was like $30 and my paint sprayer was around $20. And over 3 years, I can't even tell you how many pieces of furniture with those tools, and I've saved a fortune over buying expensive brands that you would get from places like Home Depot or Lowe's. So do not buy expensive tools for your furniture flipping venture. It's not necessary, and those cheap tools will be just good enough for what you're going to be doing. My next tip is going to be about selling your piece. So where are you going to sell this? My favorite place to sell furniture is on Facebook Marketplace. I find my furniture there and I sell my furniture there. So my do tip for this is sell on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. The reason for this is because there is no overhead cost. My don't is do not sell at antique stores or other places like this because you will have an overhead cost and it is very time consuming keeping up with a booth at an antique store. It is meant for people who are able to do it full time. And if you are somebody who's watching this, you may or may not be somebody who has the time to do that. So be aware of that when selling. Always try and sell in a way that doesn't cost you money. My last tip about selling and where to sell and how to sell is look around on Facebook Marketplace, because that's where you're going to be selling your stuff if you're following my advice. Look on there for similar pieces or similar pieces in function. They do not have to look the same, but if you are selling a China hutch, type in China hutch and see how much other China hutches are selling, even if they're not in the same style as yours. When it comes to used stuff, style doesn't play a whole lot into price comparing, and people will just buy something because that's what's available a lot of times. So if you see that they're selling China hutches for $200, I want you to look at that, think about it, and price around that price. If your piece is like amazing compared to theirs, price it a little bit above theirs, but you're not going to want to price so high that it's not affordable to people. Remember always that when you're selling secondhand, people aren't going to want to pay brand new prices for secondhand, even if you fixed it up brand new. It's still a used piece. So keep that in mind of what the buyer is thinking. What I usually do is I find something similar to what I'm selling and I price just below what they are selling it for. Now, some people might think, oh, well, it's worth more because I did this, this, and this. It might be worth more, but what makes more sense is the quick flip. You want to sell this. You don't want to have it sit in your house for weeks and weeks and weeks waiting to be sold for the right price. Be willing to get rid of that piece, because if you followed all of my tips up until now, you're still going to be making a really good profit because you're going to save money on the paint. You're getting the piece for free. You're reusing the hardware. All of it is going to be profit. You're really going to be spending hardly anything on fixing this piece up. So get it sold. That is what is most important. And when you continue to price your pieces well, people will come back to you because they know that you're fair priced. And if you are able to follow these tips, you'll still be making just as much money as the people who were charging more because they may not be using these awesome tips like you are. The last piece of advice that I want to give you is to just put yourself out there. That's one of the best things that you can do, is just start. And sometimes people may be nervous or they may not be confident in their skills, but just start. If you're starting with free pieces, what is there to lose? Just start. I promise you that you will at least make some kind of money off of the pieces that you do if you follow these steps. So get out there. Don't be afraid anymore. You can do this. I promise you that you can do this. I've been doing this for so many years and it's been great. I've met so many people along the way, and just putting myself out there instead of being scared or embarrassed has opened so many doors. And it's now to the point where I have an income on YouTube because of doing this. All I started with was flipping furniture. And shoot, you might even be able to do this type of YouTube channel yourself. You might surpass me someday. Just get out there and do it. I know you can do it. I'm confident in you. And of course, I'm always here to support you if you have any questions. And you can comment down below with questions, or you can email me anytime, and I'm willing to help anybody who wants to get out there and help better their lives and their futures by making some extra money. So if you enjoyed what you saw today, don't forget to hit like and subscribe down below, and I will see you next time. Bye!